Hello YouTube, welcome back. The elves have arrived and it appears the undead have fucked off. So let's see what that results in. I'm going to do a quick survey because we did it at the end of last session and I've forgotten what we've got. So we've got 6 undead still available for capture. Now what I'm going to do is take a look at our trap array, see that it's fully set up, so that's good. And I'm going to set a military alert and bring all of our boys back inside. Okay, so MA Burrow 1 Bosch, there we go. So we'll quit out of there, go back up to the surface, which I believe is F8, correct. And then, actually before we open the gates, I feel like we need to get rid of these little bad boys, don't we? We need to get rid of these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say DN for remove construction, and we're going to remove both of these little fellas. There we go. And I'm also going to reverse that military alert because we'll put that on after we've got rid of those walls. Otherwise it's going to take forever to get rid of them. So let's wait for those to get rid of. Then we can open the gates. The elves will come in and presumably dump all their gear for trading, and then the undead will either kill them for us, which would be okay, or come down and get caught in our cage traps, which would be equally acceptable. I'm quite happy with either of those outcomes. It's not like we've got too much we can trade with the dwarves anyway. I think we've got a few spiked wooden balls, which of course they're going to turn their noses up at, and maybe a few bits and bobs that might be worth trading, but nothing I particularly want to get rid of. I mean, all I want to do is look through their inventory and see what they've got with them, really. It's not like we require anything. We're not in any kind of urgent need. It's all good. I also like my cola hot and decarbonated, or sometimes cold. I saw a thing, I think it was a Vice travelogue thing, where they were talking about going for a drink in, was it Shanghai or Beijing? And apparently they put they use Coca-Cola as a mixer for red wine, which seems mad to me, but I suppose, you know, if that's what you do, that's what you do, you crazy cats. So let's open up that upper gate, which is that one. Add pull now, lovely. And then we'll go and watch the thing open, hopefully. That might not actually be how it plays out, but we'd like it to be that way. We would love it to be that way. Get the elves in, not too far in of course. We don't want them actually coming into our fortress. That would be unacceptable. They can stay at the outer trade gate, that's fine. Elves inside though, ugh. Oh yeah, we didn't look at the outcome of the poll, did we? I should have had a look at that. Manage poll, view results. So, the question asked was who would win in a fight between Jesus Christ and Cthulhu? We've had 9 people, 90% of respondents, say Cthulhu. And one person, one brave soul, said Jesus Christ. Well done. Well, only one of you's going to heaven, which is, you know, that's okay. Statistically, that's a pretty good hit rate on my viewership. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. If all of you were going to heaven, I'd think that was weird. Very creepy. Alright, let's unpause, otherwise nothing's going to happen. And have a look at chat as well. Chat. I find it acceptable if the elves get killed by the undead. I mean, it saves us doing the work, doesn't it? It saves us starting the war. An atomizer to kill the caged elves. One of those little buzzy things you put in waters for the mist. They love cooking with cola as an ingredient. Intriguing. Ralph said Jesus. Well done. Congratulations. St. Paul will be opening up the pearly gates. No, sorry, St. Peter will be opening the pearly gates for you. One person doomed to an eternity in the Shoggoth pit's more like. Honestly, Plutonian Jesus, I think you mean that's 10 people. Doomed to. It doesn't matter who you voted for. Cthulhu's still going to kill you or drive you insane or just ignore you. That's the lucky people. When Cthulhu ignores you, that's a sign of great luck. I'm not seeing any elves coming to do trading, which is slightly concerning. Where are they? Merchant. Here we go. There's a merchant. Where are you? Right there. Okay, are you on the move? They are on the move, presumably heading towards our gates. But we'll see how it pans out. Let's also check down here to see if any of the undead have already made it into our trap array. Nope, not a single one. That's okay though. Once they've all been accounted for, either in traps or on a surface census, it'll be fine. Right, let's find the elves. There we go. Are you coming in? You guys coming into our trade zone? Take me to the trading zone. No? Oh, hello. We've got an undead. We've got an undead kangaroo by the looks of things. Is that what it is? It's a kangaroo doe. A named kangaroo doe, which means it's probably killed. Oh dear. And it'll probably kill again. Oh yes, the pork and coke pulled pork thing. I remember seeing the the recipes for that. Apparently pineapple juice is very good for tenderising meat. I think we've had this come up in chat before. It sort of starts to partially digest stuff. Would you date a shoggoth? Well, I'm spoken for. I have a life partner, so I'm unlikely to date anybody other than her. But you know what? I don't think I would. A shoggoth doesn't seem like a friendly... Sure, they're protean creatures capable of taking on any form, even, I would guess, a sexy form. But I don't think I'd want to... I wouldn't want the revelation. I wouldn't want that Jerry Springer moment on stage and they go, oh, and all along I was a shoggoth. And I'll be like, oh, that's not an ideal scenario to be in. I know that feeling of the birds singing too early. I had a terrible headache today and I didn't get out of bed until stupid o'clock, like 4 in the afternoon o'clock, which was... weird. I thought I'd have at least been woken up by someone before then, but apparently not. Apparently I am not needed. I'm entirely superfluous. Shoggoth-chan. I watched an anime series in which the main characters were supposed to be Cthulhu, Nyarlathotep and all those kind of characters, Hastur, but they were all little anime girls, which was really weird. I don't know like how you go from like that to that. It seems like a big jump. Apparently Call of Cthulhu, the role-playing game, very popular in Japan, sort of the #1 tabletop role-playing system as I understand it, which is interesting. I've really been enjoying that World of Horror game. I ended up buying it. I know, did I stream it? I'm not sure if I streamed it, but I ended up buying it after watching Angori Tom play it, and it's pretty damn good. Pretty damn good. Now, where are the elves? They seem to be taking their sweet ass time. Let's have a little look. It's the U key. I want others. Merchant, elf merchant, Z. Still over here. What are you doing over here, boys? Why have you decided to just sort of hang around on this area rather than actually going to the trade area? Which would be very good. I've got a couple of horses over here that they don't seem to be doing anything with. Have they grabbed... It looks like they've grabbed a shrub of some kind. What are you doing? Are you leaving? Are they leaving? Dear, oh dear, oh dear. Oh well, looks like we can't rely on them to come and do some trading. We're just going to have to wait until the undead get captured in our cage traps and then we can go and pilfer whatever loot is still left on the surface from the last time elves tried to trade with us. Oh well, never mind. Never mind. Find the elves and burn them there with their trees. I mean, we will eventually, we'll get round to it, but I really want to get ourselves kitted out with decent armour, get some trained military dwarves, and then send them out on the task. Because I feel like if we go about it half-cocked, we're going to get fucked. Which, I don't know, doesn't make sense when you say it out loud, but yeah, we want to be careful. I think the elves get pissy if you cut down the mushroom trees, Clay Cree. I don't think they accept it. I think for them, a tree is a tree is a tree, even when it's a mushroom, which is clearly stupid. But there you go. That's elves, right? Daft as brushes. Speaking of tabletop RPGs, I desperately want to play Blades in the Dark. Chunky Nut, I think, mentioned that to me a little while ago, Blades in the Dark. I've never given it a go, but he seemed very keen on it. I don't remember what he told me about it at all, but I do remember the look of joy in his eyes as he described it. But I've never had a chance to play it yet. In fact, I've not even read the book. My favourite tabletop system, without a doubt, is Call of Cthulhu, but I did enjoy Conspiracy X back in the day. I was a big fan of the World of Darkness stuff, again back in the day, sort of 90s era role-playing, and I played a lot of D&D 3.5, which is fun enough. But you know, D&D's okay, but you know, I'm more of a Cthulhu boy. I love it of the old cock. What's happened here? Why have we suddenly skipped over? Oh, migrants. Okay. Well, some of them might make it into the fortress. Seems unlikely. They're probably going to get torn apart by the undead congregating in the corridors. But we'll see. We'll see. Is it even worth checking who they are? You know what? Let's give it a crack. Let's go over to Dwarf Therapist and let's take a look. We had 53 adults, 11 children and 5 vulnerable babies. We now have 62 adults, 16 children and 2 vulnerable babies, which suggests either a horrible baby-geddon or just people maturing. And with 16 children, it kind of makes sense that they've grown up rather than died. But we'll see. We'll see. Let's have a little look at Migration Wave. Scroll down to the most recent. There were 11 of them. 3 peasants. I think that's a farmer, a child, cook, suturer, child, surgeon, metal crafter, peasant. Oh, actually, the medical people who came along are pretty good. Let's hope they make it past the blockade. And then militarily, they're not particularly exciting. Some skills, but nothing worth getting excited about. Oh well, back to the fortress, and we'll unpause and see if they make it in. Come on, dwarves. Get past those undead. Bring me your medical skills. It's not like we're really using the hospital. Anyone who gets wounded is just kind of accepted as a casualty. But it's alright, it's alright. Hello, Professor Voland. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us again. Punishment? It does sound pretty bad. It did, yeah. Well, we'll let it go. We'll just let them pass on. We'll not stick to the subject. We'll let it slide by. I meant to mention to you when we were talking about Cthulhu feeling real. I think it's because of that paranoid feeling that the world we live in is just a facade, and in reality it's an eternity of suffering to incredibly powerful and unthinkable creatures. That seems more plausible than a benevolent God who constantly tortures us and murders children because it's his plan. I mean, to be honest, you know, I don't feel like necessarily that suffering is that intense, for me at least. You know, there's quite a bit of it in the world, but I don't think it's the dominant force, to be fair. Although I don't feel like there's any kind of plan or coherence about the way the world unfolds, for sure. Shindle 177013? I'm not entirely sure I know what that is. Should I Google that? Or is this going to be something I end up regretting? Am I going to have to start banning people in chat if I Google this? Let's have a look. Fingers crossed this doesn't mean I have to ban all my viewers. Okay, I'm not... Seems... Oh, hello. There's one of those goofy faces. Oh, no, I'm reading some of the text. Okay, yeah. It's not necessarily a banning thing, but maybe if I dig a bit deeper for research purposes, it will be. We'll see. We shall see. We shall see. Let's quickly get back to the game. Otherwise, things might get off the rails. Where we're going, we don't need rails. Okay, we've had an alert. Something has happened. Someone's withdrawn from society. An armourer. Oh, now this is nice. We've got a lot of cool adamantine nearby to the workshops. So fingers crossed, artifact adamantine armour. That's the hope. Before we do anything else though, let's just check about some fighting. Yeah, it looks like the wild boar partial skeleton has... oh, the dwarven child is having trouble breathing. It looks like the boar's been goring children in the corridor. But, I mean, we kind of knew that was going to happen. When we opened the gate to the merchants and we allowed the undead to head towards our cage trap arrays, we knew the migrants were not going to have a fun time. It was never going to be great. Let's have a look. Do not Google, says everybody. Okay. I didn't Google it. Well, I did Google it. I just saw some pictures and I thought, oh, okay. We'll just leave it for now. We'll just leave it for now. No, tin can't be used for armour. It's fine. Don't worry, Sprocket Toad. We're all good. Oh god, not adamantine socks. That would be a problem. I wouldn't like that. I wouldn't like that at all. So, let's unpause. We'll wait for whoever it was who got the mood to claim a workshop. I'm guessing that we've lost pretty much all of that migration wave, right? I'm going to check Dwarf Therapist while we're here. There were 11 of them, and now we have 9 of them. Okay, that wasn't all of them. Mainly just the children, which, you know, kind of makes sense. Kind of makes sense. I never found it particularly believable that Carl made it all the way through. Well, I say all the way through. Made it as far as I watched through The Walking Dead. I felt like he probably would have popped his clogs sooner. But, you know, let's allow that to fly. Let's allow that to go. Here we go. Okay, I'm still refreshing. I'm not seeing any more deaths, so maybe the medical staff managed to make it through the blockade. That could be good. I feel like you could use tin for armour, but I don't think it'd be very good. No, exactly. Yeah. Keep looking. What if they're images? What if they're embroidered with the images of a dead elf babies? I mean, yeah, it's kind of a redeeming feature, but it's still a big old waste of adamantine. Ideally, we want, yeah, breastplate would be nice, or helms, something like that. That's a good point. What did happen to the adamantine hammer tidy? I'm not sure. I'll have to find it, see what's going on. Okay, people are talking about anime, manga / possibly hentai in chat. I'm not going to be drawn in. I'm a good boy. I only watch My Hero Academia and stuff like that. It's not true. I watch all sorts. I like anime. I don't like all of it, but you know, when I find one I like, I watch it, and I'm not ashamed, because I'm not some sort of fucking weeb. Anyway, where were we? There's a tin bin there that's forbidden for some reason. Let's unforbid that. Go back up to the surface and have a little look and see if we see any more people heading towards our traps. Well, I definitely see undead on the way into the fortress. Oh, hello. Hello, we've caught 2 of them. That's nice. I'm going to check the others list. 1, 2, 3 of them remain uncaged. The dingo head, which I'm guessing isn't particularly mobile. The kangaroo doe skeleton and the wild boar partial skeleton. Where is the dingo head? Oh, it's making its way in. There's the dingo head, and just below it, the boar, presumably? Oh, no. No, that is the dingo head. What's above it then? Nothing. Surely dingo head... Ah, the wild boar partial skeleton. Okay, so that leaves only one other creature. Why is this stray donkey foal being left alone by the undead? Do they not care? Apparently the undead don't give 2 fucks about a donkey foal. What was the third one again? Dingo head, wild boar, and... oh, another wild boar partial skeleton. They're all in the corridor. It's fine. Don't panic. They'll get down and they'll get caught in the trap soon enough. Let's watch. The scoundrel weeb. Oh my goodness. I didn't even realise that was an interpretation that could be done. Talking about doujinshi. Isn't that like a genre of like homemade manga that they sell at markets? Or am I Crazy. You're in a room with an elf and a goblin. You have a gun with one bullet. What are you doing? Well, I'm going to wait to see what happens. Whoever attacks me first gets the bullet. I'm pretty sure if I have to shoot the goblin, I'll still be able to strangle the elf. And it will probably feel good as well. I mean, you know, get a little bit more personal. Actually watch the light fade from its eyes. It'd be nice. Coco Van, certainly not my best batch, but it's an adequate, and I'm happy with that. Well, that's good. That's good. I find that things can go very wrong very quickly when cooking with wine. I feel like, and beer, any alcoholic drink, I feel you can overpower the flavours of other stuff. I went through a phase of enjoying a good ale-based stew, but I feel like I was always putting too much ale in. You just want a little splash for the flavour. You don't want to make it the base of the actual dish. Throw goblin at elf. Oh, now there's a move. Keep gun. Yeah. Nothing like drawing up battle plans for a strike on a dingo head. That's right, Harold Beaver. And welcome back, by the way. Thanks for joining us again. I'm pretty sure we should be able to just punt that thing into a wall, right? Can't be. I mean, a good pair of boots is going to stop it from biting your feet off, hopefully. Xavier St. Cloud, welcome back, thanks for joining us, says, cease these shenanigans at once. Also, what are we up to this evening? Well, we were cogitating on the idea of putting water on the magma to allow us access to more adamantine down below, as they say. But then we had an elven caravan and some migrants turn up at the same time as the siege pissed off, and as such, we are now pretty much just waiting for the undead to trigger our cage traps, and then we should be able to send our boys up to the surface for a little bit of looting, hopefully. I feel like the elves have probably buggered off by now. Yeah, they're gone. Oh well, could be worse. Could be worse. We've only got 2 of them remaining uncaged. The dingo head and the wild boar partial skeleton, which is now in the stairway. How many? 2, 3, 4... It's only 4 Z levels away, so it shouldn't take too long. I'm not sure how fast the dingo head can move, but we'll see. Oh, dingo head doesn't sound like a fun sex move, does it? It feels like it's going to be toothy, right? Feels toothy, man. Oh, here they come. The 2 undead are carrying down the corridor. They're about to go over the bridge. Fingers crossed they actually get caught in cage traps and don't fuck us about. But I feel like the dingo... Hopefully the dingo head, if any of them don't get caught, is the one that doesn't get caught. Because I feel like we're going to overpower that fairly straightforwardly, right? Just imagine it rolling across the floor with its tongue lolling out. Come on. How is it even moving? It's not like it's the Thing where it can sprout legs. Man, The Thing is a fantastic movie. I haven't watched it for ages, and I keep meaning to get Kel to watch it with me. I'm not sure I don't think she's seen it. She hadn't seen Return of the Living Dead, which was a bit of a shocker for me. Oh, hello. Hey! All the undead currently contained, I believe. Caged, caged, caged. Lovely. Excellent. Well, in that case, we can remove the alert. Bosh. Alert ended. Dwarves, flood forth and do what thou wilt. Presumably that will be picking up lots of loot from the surface, I'm guessing. We're going to see him just come charging out pretty quickly. D, B, C for reclaim. Is there anything forbidden up here? Got a few forbidden bits and bobs over here. Let's deforbid those. And then have we got any more forbidden ships? Nope. Still got loads of stuff from that last caravan that got annihilated, but that's fine. That's fine. And then the dingo head starts shooting lasers. Heavens above. It is it's technically a glass rather than a mug, but yeah, it's quite big. It's about a pint, I think. Just over a pint. I once tried soaking pork in ale and frying on a pan. It was good. I reckon as a sort of a marinade, the right kind of ale probably would be quite nice. But you've got to be picky. You've got to be choosy. You can't just put any old beer down. It has to be something that works with the meat. Because I don't think I think Guinness works quite well with beef. If you like make a nice Guinness and beef pie, very tasty. Down below indeed. No dead elves at the moment. They may have pissed off. The second they saw the undead were all over the surface, they may have gone, oh, I can't handle this, we've got to go. Let's go and look at some trees. Oh, here we go, more numbered manga. Oh my goodness. I tried to cook with some really strong moonshine my friend had once. It ended up combusting. Well, that sounds like a bit too strong. A little bit too strong. You know what? I'm not always a fan of sugary meats, but I do like that crispy shredded beef they do at the Chinese takeaway. Very tasty. How about marinating the chicken while it's alive in beer? I feel like you're probably wasting beer at the point you're giving it to animals while they're alive. I mean, maybe you could make them drink a shitload, but that, at best that's going to affect the liver, right? And I feel like if you want to go for a big liver, I mean, the foie gras route is the tried and tested method. Get the old flat foie gras rod. Very expensive brandy and drown them in it. Oh, I remember that. Oh, there's a TV show that hasn't been on for a while but is well worth a watch. If you haven't seen the Hannibal TV show, I really recommend that. That is fantastic. And he's got some exotic dishes in there. Obviously, he's a cannibal. But it's not just the cannibal stuff. There's some other exciting things. Me and Kel really enjoyed that one. I'm very disappointed it didn't go on any further, in fact. It's got Mads Mikkelsen as Hannibal. Oh god, that series was fantastic. Well worth a watch. Oh, love a bit of Mads Mikkelsen. I'm hoping my dwarves aren't straying too far from the cave mouth here, because at best it's going to result in an enormous amount of vomit, and at worst it's going to result in a shitload of dwarves being lost on the surface. While we're here though, let's cut down some trees. Let's cut down some... Oh! There's trees already designated for chopping. Okay. Let's have a little look and see if our stockpile of wood is building up. Not by the look of it, no. Although we have 0 idlers, so I'm guessing something good is happening. Oh shit! We forgot about the... dude who claimed the workshop. What's going on here? So, cut gems, glass, shining bars of metal, square blocks, skeletons, a quarry, forest, cut gems. Okay, has he got any... He's picked up adamantine wafers, good. Gabbro blocks, obsidian blocks, kangaroo buck mangle bones, boner? Bone. 22, okay. And some granite. Okay, so basically he's waiting for some wood. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to forbid this granite just to reset his timer. And then off he goes to get some more... Oh shit, it does have to be right next to the workshop, doesn't it? That's okay though, we've got a few minutes until the wood gets chopped down. Let's go out to the surface and let's make a priority 1 chop order. DT, priority 1. There's a question, do I even have a wood chopper at the moment? Maybe I do, maybe I don't, but let's do that. Priority 1, bingo. I'm going to go over to Dwarf Therapist and just check to see if we have anybody on the wood chopping duty. Wood cutting, we do. We've got 2 dwarves, Iral and Bembol. Okay, no worries. You guys carry on. Carry on my wayward dwarves, chop those trees and something pause. Okay, that didn't work very well. The rhyme died. The rhyme died before it was even born. A stillborn piece of poetry. Mikkelsen's face scares me away. He's unpleasant to look at. I think he's intriguing to look at. He's got a very like striking look. They had a food stylist to make the food look good, and it does. I have to say, even the cruelest of dishes in that make me go, ooh, if someone presented it to me like that, I would probably try it. I would probably give it a go. Ralph thinks he's pretty handsome in a villainous sort of way. Ooh. All those pictures of him with Kojima and stuff looking very, very dashing. What would my possessed creation artifact be? Ooh, To be honest, if I ended up having a mood, I imagine it would end up being something impractical and useless. Like, it'd be like an adamantine fucking bucket or something. Something really not worth using the materials on. I would like it to be a glorious adamantine breastplate or helm, but the likelihood of that happening is, well, approaching zero. Very unlikely. I'm going to try and find our woodcutters. Who have we got? We've got Iral Lemostershire. Oh, there we go, look at that. Starting a fist fight? Question mark. With whom? Who are you starting a fist fight with? What the fuck is your problem? What are you doing? Why aren't you cutting down wood? You fuck-witted tit juggler. He's very unhappy. Why are you so unhappy? What's the problem? Stress level 27.2k. Thirsty. Fucking tit. There's plenty of booze. Unable to practice a craft. Abstract thinking. Away from family. Away from friends. Screw you. Chop down that fucking tree and get on with your job, or you are going to get banished, sir. Banished from the fortress, I say. We have two dwarves who are pretty miserable, actually. Maybe I should think about kicking them out. They're causing more trouble than they're worth. Iral, Zastava, and Besmar. Okay, one of them is an armour smith. But we'll see how it pans out. It looks like he's chopped down the tree now, right? Question mark. Tree been chopped? Tree chopper? Tree chopper. No? Okay, he's apparently still... He's now cleaning. Why are you cleaning? I mean, why would you not be chopping down the tree? Okay, let's do a search. See if we can find another woodcutter. Wood. We've only got one here. That's interesting. We had two. Oh, I need to refresh the Dwarf Fortress Dwarf Therapist thing, don't I? Let's go over and have a look. We had 61 adults, 15 children, and 2 vulnerable babies. And now we have the same numbers. Okay. Sort by wood cutting. We've still got 2. Interesting. Okay. Well, wood cutting is hardly a job for, you know, a skilled craftsperson. So let's just spam out a few extra jobs there just to make sure that there's enough people doing it. There we go. And then we'll go back to the fortress, back down to the claimed workshop. Click that. Forbid the next piece of granite. And then we're also going to need some glass, aren't we? So add green glass, raw green glass. Let's put a few of those in the queue. We should have orders in for collecting sand to make that, but we'll see how it pans out. I'm hoping someone will run straight in and start making some glass, but we can't guarantee it. We may need to forbid a few more green boulders. Green granite boulders. I'm guessing he's running for the wood now. Should keep them busy for a while. They can have quite a way to go before they've got any wood. But when they've got it, they'll come back and hopefully find a nice piece of raw green glass waiting for them. I'm assuming it's raw green glass they want. Usually when they want glass, it's raw green, right? That's how it works. I hear a lot of women saying Mads is unnerving, but I also see a lot of men saying he's handsome. Perhaps he's just one of those looks that makes him more attractive to men than women. Maybe. And again, I always thought it was beards. I've had like hundreds of men compliment my beard. I don't think I've ever had a woman say, I like your beard. It just doesn't seem to happen very often. He looks deceitful. Ralph, just drop it. Not now. Because explicitly they don't. Anyway, where were we? Waiting for him to come back and do his move. That's fine. That's fine. Hopefully, if I'm careful, I should be able to come down here, get more digging orders. What the fuck? Why is there a piece of loose adamantine in that lava? Oh, Christ. Something happened. Okay, we should be able to put more digging orders in down here that should get fulfilled. Oh, none of them have been cancelled. That's weird. Okay, I'll just put them on a higher priority and see what happens. Should be fine. Should be fine, right? There we go. That looks good. Okay, so back up to the workshop area. Is he coming back with wood? Yep, there we go. I see him hurtling down the corridor, carrying some logs. Very good. I'm just going to check our stock levels for raw green glass. Glassy. C, D, E, F. Oh, okay, it's not in the glass category. Okay. Interesting. Okay, we're going to go into enhanced view. Do a little search for glass. There we go. Crystal glass godum, green glass akam, green glass earring, large table cut green glass gem, raw crystal glass and raw green glass. Okay, we've got 2 pieces of raw green glass. Where is that? Oh, no, don't do that. Okay, where is it then? If I press Shift Z, will it zoom me to it? Hooray! Oh, blimey. Question mark? Somewhere on the surface. Why is the raw green glass on the surface? That doesn't make any freaking sense. Regardless, let's set up a stockpile for it so we don't end up... Does it count as a gem? I think it does count as a gem, doesn't it? So we need to put it in a separate stockpile. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say E for gems. There we go. 2, 3, 4, 5. What? 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, these are all 6 by 2 now. Let's click there, go to settings, gems. Don't want rough gem. I want rough glass. I want cut glass. There we go. Just glass in that one. That's our glass stockpile. I also want sand, but I remember sand stockpiles being an absolute pig to deal with. It doesn't look like he's hanging around in the stockpile lamenting a lack of resources, though. He appears to have put the wood in and then run off, as some men are wont to do. Am I right? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I would try to be friends with the goblins, laying siege on my fortress before trying to be friends with an elf. I mean, I agree, personally. I agree. Sprocket Toad says ore? Question mark. We don't have a whole heap of ore. Oh, he's begun his construction. Hello. Lovely. Okay. The only ore we have, Sprocket Toad, in case that is the question you were asking, is this brown cassiterite over here on the left. As you can see, that's not ideal. Only way we're getting any steel is by duping it, and we're duping it hard at the moment, which is disappointing to say the least. What's all this in the melty stockpile? A grown willow longsword? Whoa. This is no use. Don't bung up my fucking stockpiles with wooden weapons. What is this? No, forbid. Jesus Christ. Oh. Fucking elves. Am I right? Of course I'm right. So now we need a stockpile for wooden weapons, don't we? Well, let's go up to the stockpile floor, and in this top room I'll make one P. PP, okay. PP, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, make it 5 by 5, why not? And then we say stockpile, weapons and trap components, yes weapons, yes trap components, no metal ones, no stone ones? No stone ones. Other materials, yes, although realistically, I mean, it's not a lot of stuff. That'll do. Okay, and then hopefully someone will move those wooden weapons from that stockpile to this stockpile. That's the dream. That's the hope. That's what we're looking for. That's the ideal outcome. So what's wrong with elves beyond dwarf propaganda and re-education? Generally, I think as a fantasy race, they're like just lazy. It's just like, oh, we're like people, but better. Oh, we're graceful and beautiful. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck about that shit. I don't want to hear stories about beautiful, graceful fantasy creatures. Fuck that shit. I want something a little bit more interesting. Something with a bit of, you know, grit in it. Not like beautiful 6 foot tall, blonde haired, blue eyed, pointy eared, boring people. Oh, we're so perfect. I just don't like elves. I don't like Tolkien elves. I don't like Warhammer elves. Generally speaking, when people say elves, I'm like, ugh. And don't get me started on fucking drow and all those other elves. Disgusting. Ugh. Boring. Urist Nogreth the Armourer has created Mosti Boslan, an adamantine right gauntlet. Of course it's only one gauntlet. She claims it as an heirloom in the name of the family ancestor, Ustuth Blockadefeld. Okay, let's take a look at this bad boy. What have we got? Let's have a look. Orange Wind, an adamantine right gauntlet. Very nice. This is an adamantine right gauntlet. All craftsdwarf ship is of the highest quality. It is decorated with oval green glass cabochons and encircled with bands of square-cut praises. This object is adorned with hanging rings of granite and menaces with spikes of kangaroo bone. On the item is an image of marquee-cut gems in adamantine. On the item is an image of iron guild shields, the dwarf and dwarves in Gabbro. Iton guild shields is surrounded by the dwarves. The artwork relates to the rise of the dwarf Iton Guild Shields as an enemy of the Brilliant Whips in the midwinter of 206 during the rampage of the dwarf Iton Guild Shields in Agesbridged. On the item is an image of Der Weisdplatz, the human, and Shastol Juglalald, the walled nail of fraying, the human, in obsidian. Shastol Juggalalol, the walled nail of fraying, is striking down Der Weisdplatz. The artwork relates to the killing of the human Der Weisdplatz by the human sunless slayer Shastol Juggalalol, the walled nail of fraying, in Season Webbed, in the Steppe of the Mouths in the early summer of 85, during Dalithrasgur, the riddled attack. On the item is an image of an octahedron in Alder. Oh, well, okay, it's a good job that the octahedron is octahedral, otherwise it would cause somewhat of an oxymoron. Jesus Christ, okay, that was a mouthful. There was some difficult to pronounce gubbins in there. And I must admit, a single gauntlet wasn't what I was expecting, but it is kind of what I was expecting. It's not particularly useful on its own right. The adamantine warhammer hasn't left the workshop, by the way. There it is, right there, sitting on the side. Dark elves are cool, though. Get out. Disgusting. No, I don't like dark elves. I'm not a fan. I'm not even a fan of Eldar. That's space elves. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. How is dwarves different from elves? Oh, we're everything that's pretty much everything disgusting about humans and only mine. I like dwarves. I don't mind dwarves. They seem much more palatable to me than elves, because they're just, you know, they have the failings that humans have, whereas elves are always like, oh, elves, oh. I just don't like them. I like Pratchett's portrayal of elves in the Discworld series. You know what? I've read all his books. I'm a big fan. and I can't remember anything about his portrayal of elves. It was in that, it was one of the witches' books, wasn't it? Fairy Kingdom or something, wasn't it? Or did that not have elves? I can't remember. I mean, I'm not saying that dwarves aren't lazy fantasy tropes, but they're not as lazy as elves. I don't get the love. I fucking hate Legolas in the Lord of the Rings movies. Gimli, not so fussed about, don't really care, but Legolas, I'm like, and all the elves, I'm like, fuck off. If you're so fucking cool, why are you dying out? Go away, piss off across the sea to the Grey Realms, and let the world of men get on with it. Really, piss off. Dwarves are groggy wee alcoholics who live in holes and have great beers. What isn't there to love? Exactly. It's beautiful. I wouldn't say dwarves are all fat, short and abrasive. I feel like some definitely fall into that category, but I feel like there's just more interesting stuff about them. I feel. That's all. Of the elves, wood elves are the best elves, Ravelin. I would agree. But, yeah. What's wrong with Eldar? Well, they're space elves, aren't they? I mean, they're better than regular elves, because they're sci-fi elves, but they're still elves. Elves have the failings of being weak compared to humans, are so unusually ranged or use spells. That's only in like the Warhammer lore and stuff. If you read like Tolkien's elves, they're basically like fucking angelic super creatures. Hang on. He portrayed them as disgusting users of people, evil and cruel, but with a glamour that enchants people. Maybe. I'll have to check that out. But as I recall it, certainly from the films at least, bearing in mind I only read the Lord of the Rings books when I was 11, so it was a long time ago, and I probably wasn't quite ready to read them at that point. Wasn't quite old enough. True, bows need a lot of strength. Goblins are the best stereotypical fantasy race. I'm not going to argue too much with that. I quite like a goblin here and there. I certainly like Cheese Goblin from Mandy. Very good goblin. I mean, I've got a soft spot for gnomes, to be honest. I know people dislike them, but Dungeons and Dragons gnomes, just, I don't know why. Little creatures, little people. I like them. I've got a thing for them. Pratchett and elves. Oh, no, yes. No, I remember. Yeah, no, now I do recall. Yes, he did. And they were kind of like that. And, I think that's not the worst portrayal of elves. They're kind of interesting in that regard. You put them in a Pratchett book and they're interesting, but generally speaking, your vanilla fantasy elves, no, disgusting. Not a fan. Not a fan. Oh, hello. That's been paused for a bit too long. Let's dig out some more of this. There we go. I mean, my girlfriend loves elves. Whenever we went to LARP back in the day, she was always an elf. And you know what? It's her choice. That's fine. That's fine. She can do what she wants. But I'm not. I'm personally not my kind of deal. Not what I'm after in my own life. Okay, diggy. There we go. Zestiverse says, I would rather sit down and have a family with an elf than suffer a halfling to live. Halflings aren't that offensive to me. They're just a bit boring. I'm not really that fussed about halflings. Like, elves annoy me. I couldn't be bothered to get annoyed about halflings. I'm like, alright, okay. Whatever. Carry on. Plus, they have comedy. They're comedy gold in Blood Bowl teams. Goblins can be expanded upon pretty well, like Goblin Slayer does well with it, whereas elves and dwarves have pretty well set characteristics. That's true. I mean, my initial instinct, Stratosphere, is to agree with you and say that everything in Discworld is better than it is elsewhere, but there must be something he didn't do as well. There must be something. No one is perfect, not even Terry Pratchett. Oh man, I'm just remembering finding out he died. Oh, that was so sad. That definitely brought a tear to my eye. Very rarely that the death of a famous person makes me even feel emotional, but when he died I was like, what? No more books for Christmas? No! Have you ever played Divinity 2? Their elves are tall, spindly, funny looking cannibals. I haven't played Divinity 2, no. That's very much in the Baldur's Gate vein, and to be honest, until I played Disco Elysium, I would have said I wasn't interested in Divinity 2, but that game, thanks for that by the way, Sergeant Indy, that game really rekindled my interest in that sort of genre of game, even though I know it's a very much a different thing. It's an outlier to the standard things. It's probably not the same, but that made me at least think, oh, maybe I'll give Divinity a go someday. We'll see. We'll see. When you say your girlfriend loves elves, is she upfront about it, or did you find out? Oh, I've known for years. I've never admitted my deep-seated racism about elves until I started playing Dwarf Fortress on Twitch, at which point I kind of discovered it, discovered my own feelings. And that going to LARPs was long before Twitch existed, long before even Justin TV existed. To be fair, I started LARPing about 1993, and then I think the last time I went to a big event was probably 2009, 10 maybe. I went to like the Lorien Trust event, like the UK's largest LARPing event, like at least 10 years on the trot plus. So yeah. Okay. I knew with Tolkien very much. I think the languages came first, didn't they? He wrote the languages for the creatures and then sort of came up with the mythos around them. And that was because he was a linguist, wasn't he? If I remember rightly. Zastava had never heard of Discworld. Oh, you lucky thing. You'll get to discover. To be fair, I would say if you want to get into the Discworld books by Terry Pratchett, start with the Guards series, specifically Guards, and then if you like that, then you'll love it. Give it a crack. Oh, Stratosphere says going postal, and while the Moist von Lipwig books are my favourites, I feel like you're going to be missing a little bit of background lore. It's sort of, at that point in the series, it's kind of expected that you know a little bit about Ankh-Morpork. Maybe not though. I feel like the earliest books in the series aren't as good as some of the sort of middle books. The very last few and the very first few are not the best. But most of the Guards series, most of the Witches series, all of the Moist von Lipwig series, most of those, like, there's a lot of gold in there. Yeah, no, it is sad. Well, we still need a poll for Mare versus Forgotten Beast fist fight. We're not sending the Mare to fight a Forgotten Beast. It's too much logistical hassle. It's going to be a massive pain in the arse just trying to get anybody down to fight that Forgotten Beast without it killing everybody else. There is not going to be a Forgotten Beast combat in this fortress unless I fuck up. No deliberate combat with Forgotten Beasts. That's the policy. That's what we're doing. Not Colour of Magic first. Colour of Magic is quite good. You see, the Rincewind is one of my favourite characters, but I feel like where his stories sort of go all the way through in various points, I don't know. Some of the earlier Rincewind stuff isn't quite as good. I don't feel like the world had formed enough in Pratchett's mind for it to really be as good as it was at its best, if you see what I mean. But I personally like Guards because it introduces you to Ankh-Morpork, the Wizard's College. It introduces a lot of the ideas about death, Octarine's even mentioned in there. There's a lot of the basic ideas are brought in introductorily, Also, I must admit, it was my first Pratchett book anyway. In my final year of primary school, Mrs. Chalmers, my teacher, gave me Guards as a leaving gift when I left primary school, and I just couldn't. I thought it was amazing, amazing book. Small Gods, that's quite a good book, yes. And you're right, it does have a certain sort of standalone nature about it. But I don't think it particularly introduces the world as a whole particularly well. Good book, just I don't feel like it's an in point for the Discworld series. Starting with a fantastic one before going back to the beginning. Guards is fantastic. Yes, I would agree with that. I suppose so. The concept of the gods is very much sort of introduced in the initial 2 books. I mean, if you're going to go and read the whole series, and you know you're going to read the whole series, yeah, read them in order. But if you want a taste of it at its best, start with something like Guards. Yeah, that's right. Stratosphere. The later middle of the run books were fantastic, and when he got to the point where he was doing Going Postal, I can't remember the names of the books, but the Moistlop von Lipwig series were just incredible. Feet of Clay, I think, was one, or is that a Guards one? I think that's. They're all just brilliant. Dave preferred the earlier stuff. Oh, interesting. I mean, I don't dislike them, to be fair. I just feel like, in my opinion, the other stuff was more what I was after for it. Oh man, I love the character of Lord Veterinarian. There's never going to be any more stuff about that. Oh, it's a shame. He did encourage the guy he was co-writing with towards the end to continue the series after his death, but they just said that I don't feel like I don't want to do it. Which is, in a way, part of a shame. Making money, yeah, that was the book. In a way, it's a shame, but yeah. I got a leaving gift. My teachers basically just told me to fuck off. No, I think everybody got a book. I think I got a particularly nice book. I think I may have been a favourite student. But, yeah, no, I think when you leave your last year of primary school, I think that normally happens, doesn't it? You get a gift off your teacher? Maybe I'm wrong. It isn't a series where reading them in order is absolutely critical. No, that's true. There are episodes and there are through lines and stuff, but generally speaking, any of the particular character groups have their own threads through the storyline history. And although even then you don't have to read those in order, I feel like the one you do really have to read the Guards stories in order, because characters are introduced into the Guards and they leave, and those stories have a definite direction. They have a definite impetus in a particular direction. But I feel like a lot of the Witcher's stuff you could read out of order and it wouldn't matter too much. Certainly a lot of the Rincewind stuff wouldn't matter hugely. He doesn't change hugely as a character either. But yeah, exactly. That's what Dave has already said that. Raising Steam. Oh god, yeah, I remember that one. Yeah. There's so many. I'm gonna have to go back and read them. Maybe when my son's old enough, I'll try and get him to dip in and see if he likes them. Yeah. Nighty Night Stratosphere, you have a good one. I don't think I'll be going on much longer. I've got about 15 minutes before it gets called off. Have we tried just remembering the beast? I'm not touching the Forgotten Beasts. They're staying down in that cavern layer for as long as I can make sure they stay down there. Have we refilled our wood stockpile? Not fully, which is weird. We should have more stuff coming in by now, because we've got 21 idlers, which suggests to me that collecting wood should be fairly high up the list of priorities by now. It doesn't look like anyone's actually doing anything. Ah, shit. All that chit-chat about books has caused us to miss the opportunity to do stuff and got us stuck in a save. Fools. That's true. The Unseen University does change its... does changed significantly from the early days of the Discworld books to the latter days. Like its role in the world and the way the characters behave in it are very much different. It's sort of like a mysterious, powerful entity. Oh, thank you very much for the follow, Snout Muncher. Nighty night. What was I saying? Yeah, the character of the Unseen University changes from a sort of mysterious, powerful, shrouded entity in the beginning to more of a sort of the general parody of organizations towards the end, sort of academia and stuff. 5 hours behind Stratosphere. Oh my goodness. I mean, feel free to rant for a bit about linguistics. I mean, what could possibly go wrong there? Although we only have about 10 minutes before the end of the stream. That's the look of things, I think, because it's. I said I'd finish at 3 on Reddit, and it kind of makes sense. I feel he retconned Ankh-Morpork from medieval to Renaissance as the book went on. Yeah, I think so. Certainly, once he starts introducing Leonard of Quirm and sort of like the Quirmian characters and things like that. It's quite a hodgepodge. He had a fairly large canvas to draw from once he'd got established. I feel like certain parts of the world felt more medieval, but you're right, it gets more Renaissance as it advances. Oh. The Dead Walk. Hide while you still can. Let's do that then. Let's pull everybody in with an alert. Pause. M.A. Borrow, thank you very much. And we'll also check out what undead have turned up. Human Hammerman corpses, Sepulchre Slayer, not a sepulchral slayer, a sepulchre slayer, a slayer of sepulchres, which I believe is a type of funereal building. Oh, hello. Wild animal, a flesh ball. Never saw that coming. Why have we got a flesh ball wandering around? What is a flesh ball? I mean, other than obviously a ball of flesh. Right, they're all coming in. I feel like our dwarves should be heading down into the caverns, right? Nobody's left on the surface, are they? They probably are, aren't they? Probably buggering around like nobody's business, frolicking in the trees, being a bunch of titocks. Come on. Come on. Maybe not. Maybe they're all not outside, which would be interesting considering how much crap is laying out here. Spider silk ropes, bloodthorn buckets, sandbags, roundwood opal cabochon. Oh my goodness. Kakapo leather bag. Oh, okay, this is where those people got smashed in. No one's collecting this shit though, which is weird. I feel like we should have places to put it. Oh well, I think everybody's in, so we're going to go down to the dining hall and we're going to pull the surface door lever and seal ourselves back in. It's not the front gate, is it? It's the surface gate. Add pull now. Back up to the surface. Let's watch that thing slam shut. And then maybe next session we'll consider doing a little bit of an open-close dance to try and capture some of our invaders, because it might get rid of them quicker than just waiting for a migration wave to turn up and distract them, or traders to turn up and get rid of them. Oh shit, it's not closing. Come on. Closey, closey. Please. Oh, don't tell me it's knackered. That's not ideal. Oh, it's alright, it's 13 frames a second. That would explain the lack of urgency. Come on. Come on. Close? Question? Question mark, he says, losing his voice. Oh, crap. I don't think it's going to close. Oh, no one's pulled it yet. Okay. Somebody get in here and pull it. That would be super lovely nice. Anybody? I did say it was an urgent task. There's a dog sniffing at the lever. Not really what I was hoping for. Kind of more into the idea of a dwarf pulling it, but alright. Come on, anybody? please. We do have 20 idlers. I feel like one of them could be diverted to do a bit of lever pulling, right? Guys? Is that still in the burrow? It is. Come on, anybody, just pull the lever. Get in there. Okay, no undead in the fortress yet, but I don't feel like that's something that we can kind of expect to continue. Somebody come and pull this fucking lever. For crying out loud. Anybody, just do it. Do it. Do it now. Come on. Don't bullshit me. No? Uh-oh. It looks like we might have quite the cliffhanger for next session. Still no lever pull. Come on, somebody's got to do the job, right? Somebody's got to decide it's worth their while to seal the fortress in so we don't end up all dying, right? Nighty night, Ralph. You have a good one. Why did one of my dwarves catch on fire, says Zestiver. I presume you mean in your own game as opposed to this particular one, a dwarf that's named after you, right? Otherwise I've been oblivious to dwarves bursting into flames, which feels like it's something I should have noticed, right? To be fair, yeah, I was going to say the Renaissance is even not quite far enough. I would say that he went all the way to the Industrial Age by the end of it, right? Yeah, two flower coming from sort of like the what the hell? Why are we suddenly on this screen again? Oh, Zastaver, you're throwing a tantrum. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. Let's have a little look. Okay. Where was I? The lever. Oh, someone pulled the lever. That means safe. Nice. Okay then. Well, let's pause the fortress for a bit, because I feel like this is a good place to stop. The fortress is sealed. I'll turn the alert off first. There we go. So we're in a good place. We've got a nice little siege on the surface. We've got a load of adamantine and a plan for digging out more. We've had a mood. We've got adamantine. We've got steel coming along nicely. We're training up our metal workers. Yeah, I feel like now is a good time to leave it, and we'll come back to it later on. Fantastic. Anyway, those of you watching the YouTube recording, this is the end of the Dwarf Fortress, so thanks, and I'll see you later. Bye.